Well, this is Dr. Dave Masnak. I'm talking to you about my peer proofreading and editing platform, reciprocity.com. If you think it's a great idea, you want to help out, go onto the website. If you want to help out in any other way, just subscribe to the YouTube channel as I try to promote it. I wanted to talk to you today about growth hacking. Seems to be a really popular topic um, in sort of the online marketing realm. If you look around, there's all sorts of things that people are talking about that you can growth hack. So what is growth hacking? Well, it's really just looking at the analytics behind a web page or whatever you're looking at, analytics being just sheer number of people that are using a particular thing or converting to something, maybe getting onto your newsletter or something along those lines, and then making small changes to a particular web page, that particular web page, to see how it's going to affect the growth of that those signups or people going onto your web page. I think actually the idea behind growth hacking is really interesting, and I think you could actually get a significant number of benefits from that in terms of the experimentation. But I also think it misses out on a bigger picture in sort of the business realm that has been known for a extremely long time in terms of the diffusion of innovation. So there's this large literature talking about the diffusion of innovation. So what is that? I wanted to sort of clarify, I am a professor of innovation in entrepreneurship creativity at a large state institution in Florida. You can look up where I am. But enough about that. So what's the diffusion of innovation? That is where you look at how a particular innovation, so a new idea, new product, something like that, that is useful, will spread through a population and dominate within a particular population. There's a long literature, both in economics and sociology, that have looked at this probably for like the last 75 years, maybe even longer. I'm not, I wouldn't exactly know when the start date is when we started thinking about this, but there was a really important paper that I think was really important paper that was developed, or a series of papers that was developed by Coleman from the University of Chicago, who he ended up creating this idea later on about social capital. So what is this important idea? So it's Coleman in 1957. He also has a book. So 57, that's like what, 60 years ago? Looked at the diffusion of a medicine within physicians, and it was just they used a pseudonym of the medicine that was being diffused, and they were looking at to see which processes encourages it the most amount of diffusions or penetration in the marketplace, right? So what the entire marketplace, what particular mechanism is being that's driving the background of something being diffused in the marketplace. Now I know hacking is kind of a new thing it's sort of a new discussion within this area, but it's really boiled down to sort of a rational process where you're looking at sort of rational improvements to a particular technology and how that affects the diffusion of that particular technology. That does make a significant difference. It really, truly does. I myself have a sort of paper that I'm working on that's looking at that. But what's critical is actually, it's not the sort of rational aspects that you might think of, but it's actually the word of mouth. It's actually the discussion. So this is what Coleman found out. The physicians that were adopting the particular medication and prescribing it to their patients the quickest were actually the ones that were most socially connected, the ones that were passing along to their friends, their other physician friends, just through word of mouth. Things like just having a discussion, having a sort of open, frank discussion with friends. So I think the idea behind hacking actually does. So growth hacking is really incredibly important in terms of getting you to one particular level, but there is this huge area up here in terms of thinking about long-term sustainable growth in whatever you're building online, is building a sense of community, building a sense of friendship with the people, your customers that you're working with, or just anybody you're working with, right? So business is not necessarily about cheating people and, I've got to get the most amount of this particular thing out there so I can make the most amount of money. That's key in terms of helping, sort of fueling what you're doing. But underlying that, the motives behind why something actually grows and makes more money are things like being socially connected, developing a relationship, thinking about the long-term growth of something. Anytime you go into a situation, so there's sort of game theoretic research on this in terms of negotiations. Anytime you go into a situation where you are thinking about sort of a zero-sum game where you're trying to burn the other person, right? Get the best deal possible. Unless you're in a one-off situation, that's actually going to be harmful for you in the long run. There's this fellow at Michigan, Axelrod, that looked into this, and actually the best strategy for the long run is building a relationship and thinking about sort of tit-for-tat strategies, what are called tit-for-tat strategies. Kind of funny, right? Where you build a relationship with somebody, and if somebody does something to you, you do sort of the same thing back. In that long-term relationship, that trust, that reciprocity that you're building can go a long way, much more further in terms of developing whatever you're developing, than doing sort of the growth hacking, rational action sort of ideas behind things. So whether it is you're building an online whatever thing, or you have a lawn care business, for example, that's actually a really legitimate thing, and people make millions of dollars. Some people make millions of dollars doing that, mowing other people's lawns, believe it or not, where you build a relationship and you focus on building that relationship, and you think about how you can actually build more of a community behind what you're doing, because that community is actually what drives growth. So if you think about things like CrossFit, for example, the reason why CrossFit is super fantastically popular is not because they have all of these very precise physical movements and stuff like that. It's actually the community that they build, and they build sort of CrossFit fanatics, right, where people are just over the top in terms of getting other people to join and participating in this community. So if you think this is a cool idea of what I'm trying to do, you like these videos, and you want to help out, go into reciprocity.com, purchase credits if you want to get your own peer proofreading done. You can do you can help out by just liking this video, doing anything like that. That helps, definitely helps in the long run, and that's all I'm thinking about with this particular endeavor. I want to make sure that more and more people can use it as a useful tool for people, rather than thinking about sort of the sheer economics behind it. I just want to make sure that this is useful and people think it's a rewarding endeavor for themselves. And the more people that find it useful, the more happier I am going to be, because I think it's a really interesting thing. It was a problem that I personally had, and I'm just solving my itch. I use it on a regular basis now, and it works pretty good. So check it out, reciprocity.com. Check out the other YouTube videos, and have a good day. Take care. Bye.